morning.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to this very important topic. What we should know that more than 700 big tech companies nowadays are firing employees. And these layoffs can be contributed to mainly 4 to 5 main reasons. The first one is the pandemic boom. During the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, there was a surge on demand when people were in lockdown and they were using and they were spending a lot of time on the internet and using more often the social media platforms and the online shopping platforms, for example. So in order to respond to this need and to give a very good output, this created the second reason where the tech companies had made an over hiring because they thought this will take a longer period of time. So they thought that the pandemic is going to last for more time, and this need will be also available post-pandemic. But unfortunately, for the big tech companies, for sure, post-pandemic, people stepped out their home. So there was a decrease in the use of the internet. So there was a decrease in the revenue for these companies. So they had to fire people because they should do a cutting cost. This was the second reason. The third reason was the fear of recession. Also post-pandemic, the debt was bursting. So there was a fear of recession. The investors stepped out of the markets. So this was a third reason. The fourth one is the Russian-Ukraine war, which made the market volatile. Every time we have a war, the economic market is a volatile one. And when you have a volatile market, also this will affect the job market. And the last one is the inflation. There is a rising inflation that is affecting several economies around the world. So it is kind of a reset to stop all these ups and downs that was created from the pandemic till nowadays. So these are the 5 main reasons why the big tech companies nowadays are laying off employees.
So Mr. Khalil, what is really happening in Silicon Valley? What's going wrong?
Exactly. What's going in the Silicon Valley, it's because of the economic situation, because the tech companies contributed largely in the economic situation of the whole economic situation of around the world. So they are a main factor. So if the economic situation around the world is not going well, then the companies in the Silicon Valley, they have problems. So that's why they go and they try to turn off the let's say the least performing projects they have. And the weak point usually and from that always it is like that, they start by firing employees, especially that they did an over-hiring because they were expecting that the growth of the revenue in the tech companies, or let's say the revenue from the social media platforms and the online platforms is going to keep on the growth, or at least maintain what they had during the pandemic. So this was not the fact post-pandemic. So they are now refiring or re-getting the norm of the number of employees that they had before the 2019.
All right, so Mr. Khalil, where are those fired employees turning to? Where are they actually going?
Exactly. Some of these employees are passing through different startups and the tech companies, and for sure they can affect the performance of these and harm the tech companies, because some of them were technical people. They have a lot of information about how things were going internally, and we are seeing a lot of problems with the big, let's say, platforms in Meta, Twitter, and other platforms. The response time is being affected. The support is not the same nowadays. So this is really affecting the companies, but they have no choice. There is a rising inflation. There is a recession. It's a recession period. The economic around the world is resetting. So they don't have a solution. But yes, this will affect the performance of these companies.
So could they possibly harm companies they work in? Is there a potential threat or harm to those companies that fire those employees, Mr. Khalil?
Yes, they can, for sure. There is a lot of, let's say, between brackets, secrets that they use to edges of certain companies when they were in these companies. Now they can use it against them. So this is the main point where employees can use their expertise and use it in other companies. So they can have better performance, and this will make more competition between the apps and the social media platforms.
Do you think that the decision of those companies is perhaps a bad one? I mean, is it a loss for the companies?
Yes, it's a huge loss. Not only they are losing from the revenue of the online activity, it's another loss because they are losing experts, they are losing technical people, they are losing some internal methods and strategies that are being now mirrored into another startup companies.
So we have seen many layoffs, like we said. And in your opinion, why do people in social media overreacted, if I can say so, to those mass layoffs, Mr. Khalil?
It's really hard to accept that, for example, Meta are firing more than 10,000 employees in one shot. This is a huge number. It's 14% of the people. Twitter, half of the employees are being fired. Amazon, no one expected that Amazon would fire these people. And as we know, everything nowadays that is abnormal, people start to tweet about and talk about on social media. And at the end of the day, those are people from all the societies and from too many countries. So this is affecting the society on a large scale. And lately, people are doing more investment and seeking to learn more about the technologies and investing in the technology. So this is really making a huge fear for all individuals and employees around the world, because anyone working in the tech field nowadays created a fear for them, because at any time they can be fired, especially that even the big investors around the world are losing a lot of money. The investors in the tech companies are losing a lot of money because this worldwide economic crisis and the crisis in the job.
Mr. Khalil, is this move going to affect the services of the companies? Or let's say, is it going to affect their popularity?
Basically, the popularity it will be there. The popularity will be affected if the performance of these platforms are going to be more slow, does not respond to people's requirement. The output of these companies is not following up the need of the people around the world. So we need to wait a little bit of time to be sure if this will affect largely these tech companies, because we need to see the results. For example, after 6 to 9 months, we need to see how the world economic will take adjustment, or there will be adjustment for it. So we need a couple of months to know more if this will affect them severely.
So we have said that those big companies were doing really well during the pandemic, during the COVID-19 pandemic. They have witnessed high growth, but now maybe the growth has slowed down and we're seeing a pause or a break in the growth of those big tech companies or in the big tech industry. Mr. Khalil, do you think they have overestimated their progress?
Exactly. This is the main point. Actually, they over expected what they are going to get from the online activity, and they overhired. At that time, there was a need. But I think they overhired. They expected that everything is going to shift into automation and online activity and so on. But in fact, that was not the case. So now they are paying, it's a payback time, but unfortunately, the employees themselves are paying this.
So can we say that there is a lesson for those big tech companies to learn from the move they have made?
Exactly. The lesson learned from this is not to overhire people, work more on the technologies, on the artificial intelligence, on the system by itself, and to know that the market is not that big. It can be saturated at any time. They should know what is the main need for people from the social media, so they can have a longer strategy to maintain this strategy. The maintenance of a strategy is very important in the tech world, because it is becoming actually a kind of a volatile market.
So in your opinion, Mr. Khalil, do you think that, what do you think of the future of those companies? What is the future of these companies in your opinion, of course?
Some of the yes, exactly. Some of the big tech companies maybe will start to lose their increase, or their let's say some of these big companies are going to step out of the market. Others are going to be bought from others just to not have that amount of competition between them. So, but mainly the big companies and the ones who has a huge number of users will be there, will work again on their strategies, learn from their mistakes, so they can keep on. For sure, the online activity and the online presence and the new technologies are here to stay, but they should learn from these mistakes. So if they want to stay for a longer period of time.
So, Mr. Khalil, do you think, in your opinion, of course, once again, do you think that these companies will shrink to the pre-pandemic levels?
Some of the yes, exactly. Some of the big tech companies maybe will start to lose their increase, or their let's say some of these big companies are going to step out of the market. Others are going to be bought from others just to not have that amount of competition between them. So, but mainly the big companies and the ones who has a huge number of users will be there, will work again on their strategies, learn from their mistakes, so they can keep on. For sure, the online activity and the online presence and the new technologies are here to stay, but they should learn from these mistakes. So if they want to stay for a longer period of time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Khalil, for your valuable intervention. Thank you for accepting the invite. It was a pleasure having you. And by this, we end our little debate segment, but stay with us for the rest.